Why do people always ask where we go after death, but no one ever asks where we were before we were born and had a consciousness? Same reason you think about what you're having for dinner tonight more than what you had for dinner last night. People do. That's why multiple religions talk about reincarnation. Those who subscribe to the belief that they or people in general were created by a divine being, such as God, tend to hold the belief that they did not exist before being created. Therefore, many belief systems essentially renders that question non-pertinent. As for others, well, I think many do so long as their faith doesn't address that point in some way for them already, much like the aforementioned Socrates. Plato do. He has a theory called the higher realms and the lower realms. The lower realms are where we live now, a realm of physical objects. The high realms contain the archetypes of all things of the lower realm. Think of it this way, we as humans have this idea of perfection, but no one can hear, taste, see, or touch perfection. Correct? So, if we have this idea, but we have no way of knowing this idea without using our senses, how do we know it exists? I.e. the higher realms. Perfection is an archetype of the higher realms. It lives in the higher realms, and Socrates believes humans are of the higher realms. Through the trauma of birth, we forget all knowledge of the higher realms and must recollect the knowledge we knew before we were born to learn. It's missing a bunch of points and such, but it is one theory of where we were before we were born. Plato covers Socrates' concepts in the Republic Book 5, I think, and the Phaedo. The Republic covers the metaphysical part of the argument. The Phaedo covers the immortality of the soul and such. On a related note, my 7-year-old who happens to be on the autism spectrum asked my wife the other day, when did I get my consciousness? I'm not accustomed to being asked questions I don't have a ready answer for. I suspect I will have no choice, but to get used to the feeling as they get older. Cause we were in our dad's nuts, bro. Don't remember before and won't remember after, but my particles will be there either way. Some religions believe in a pre-mortal existence, like Mormonism. Some people do, they go on about past lives and pay scam artists big bucks to try to tell them what their past life was. But afterlife seems to be a bigger concern because death is in the future. It's still coming, whereas whatever did or didn't happen before birth is already done. If you're asking, the answer to both is a Long John Silver outside of Cleveland. Pixar made a movie about it. Soul. Probably because you can't go backwards. But death is definitely in your future. Because there's no way to know if our conscious existed before we're born. But now that we're here, the thought of just nothing after scares us. Hindus ask that all the time. What you really need to think about is where in the hell the universe came from. Does it go on forever? Does it end? If so, how? Nothing about it makes sense. Because we don't want to lose what we have, and a lot of the things people do while alive demand an answer if you have a sense of justice. Even better question would be, why are people so afraid of death? I mean, we already existed for 9 months, and even longer after birth until our first memories were formed in a state of non-existence. We existed, but we weren't aware of our existence. We fear that state once more. We existed when the egg was fertilized, but yet no experience of it at all. We truly do fear what we don't understand, simply because we don't understand it. Kinda ridiculous if you ask me. Nothing to fear but fear itself. Reincarnation, my friend. I do not fear death. I had been dead for billions and billions of years before I was born, and had not suffered the slightest inconvenience from it. I do not fear death. I had been dead for billions and billions of years before I was born, and had not suffered the slightest inconvenience from it. Mark Twain. Do you not remember before you were born? I'm confused. I got this from Star Talk. We are the only, at least we know, animals that are aware of our existence. Since we are aware, we think about past and future too, but we are trapped in presence. People do ask where we were before as well. These questions are the fundamental blocks for the religion. Sorry for being so brief. I hope you look up for more details from these. One and the same. There is nothing to fear. Probably because it's the same place. We are at the U seminar waiting to get our Earth pass. Everyone over the age of 10 has an idea of how you make babies and where we physically come from, but some few question how we, our soul, spirit, consciousness, what have you, etc. comes to be when our body connects with life and memories begin. Old souls have an idea, but there isn't any science behind this yet. Only speculations and dreams, astral projections.